Michele Herndon with the Herndon Group, powered by Place at Keller Williams, South Tampa. I'm making these videos so that our agents on our team can send them to all of our buyers and sellers before they come on their appointment with you. As a seller, and this video is for sellers, as a seller, they'll be thoroughly going through our selling experience guide that really details how our team handles your home to get it sold for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time. But today, what I want to explain to you is what's been happening in our industry. Recently, the National Association of Realtors has implemented some new policies, and I wanted to let you know what they're all about. So the first one, there's 4 pretty big changes across the industry. I'll hit on those, and I'll tell you the 4 things for sellers that we want you to be aware of. So the first thing is we can no longer list compensation to the buyer's agents in the MLS. So we used to have what was called a co-brokers field, like what are you going to pay? What's the seller going to pay the buyer's agent who comes with the buyer for the property? So now we can't have that on there. And there's a lot of ways that I'm going to explain to you in a little bit about how we are going to communicate that information without having it in the MLS. The second thing that is new in our industry is we have all new paperwork. We have a new listing agreement. We have modified contracts. We have a modified buyer-broker agreement. And that brings me to number 3. That is, buyer-broker agreements are required by every agent. They're required to get them signed by their buyers before they show them the first property. So they can't even enter a home as a buyer's agent without talking to their buyers about this agreement, and they determine the time frame and the compensation that they'll expect to be paid as a representing buyer's agent to that buyer. The 4th thing that came out of this is that consumers will be well aware of how their agent will be compensated, whether they are the listing agent or whether they are the buyer's agent. So for you as a seller, the 4 most important things are your offer of compensation to a buyer's agent who will bring a buyer to purchase your property, again, will no longer be advertised in the MLS. It can be advertised everywhere else, but not in the MLS. It can go onto our websites. It can be sent out in a flyer. It can be sent in an email from Showing Time. I just learned that today. That says, here's what the price is. Here's what the buyer broker compensation will be. So what you need to know as a seller is that this change will not prevent offers of cooperative compensation off of an MLS, and it will not prevent sellers from offering concessions on an MLS. So concessions for buyer's closing costs is what it is. Compensation would continue to be negotiable and should always be negotiated between agents and the consumers they serve. Buyers negotiating with their buyers agents negotiating with their buyers, and listing agents negotiating with the sellers. This means that while sharing compensation directly through the MLS will not be an option, we can share that concessions, you're willing to make concessions to the buyer for their closing costs. And by the way, lenders now recognize a buyer broker fee as a concession if written into the contract. So we've always been most concerned with how much our sellers will net, which is always what the sellers want to know. What am I going to put in my pocket? My fiduciary and our whole team's fiduciary duty is to maximize the return for you as a seller. Based on other criteria that might be important to you as well. It could be timing. It could be what the location is and the time frame that you need to get there. And lastly, what I want to mention is offering compensation to a buyer's agent could be the key to maximizing your net and getting you to where you want to be in a timely manner. So that was number one. Offers of compensations to a buyer's agent will no longer be in the MLS, but we can put them in a number of other places and communicate that to the buyer's agents. Or you could also offer that concession, or you can also say, hey, they need to incorporate it into their offer. But we'll talk more about that when we come to talk to you at our selling experience presentation. So our second point for you as a seller is that buyers agents will be calling, texting, reviewing our website to find out what compensation you are offering them prior to showing your home. This will be very transparent between the buyer's agents and their buyers, just so you know. Buyer's agents will be getting a buyer broker agreement signed with every single buyer prior to showing your home. And number four, that was number three. Number four is sellers have always been able to choose the compensation they're willing to offer agents to show their home and make offers. That remains the same as it has always been. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I want to welcome your questions because that's what we're here for. We're here to help. And we're here to navigate our way through all of these changes. And hopefully, as we take you along for that ride, there's no bumps in the road. And we have fully explained through this video and when we come out to meet you exactly how the new policies will work for you as a seller. I really appreciate you taking time to look at this. We appreciate your grace and understanding because this is all new to everyone, new to buyers, new to sellers, new to real estate agents. It just got implemented August 17th, and we will abide by the rules because we don't want to be fined. That's the last thing. If we don't follow these new rules, we can be fined very hefty fines by the MLS. So we appreciate you helping us stay on track with this, and we look forward to having you talk to one of our agent partners, whether it's me or anybody on my team. We look forward to helping serve you well, get you where you want to go with the highest amount of money in the least amount of time. I don't know how many times you might have heard that from other agents, but it's the truth. So thanks again.